Okay, so today we will be learning something new. We will be dealing with exponents. So we are going to be in lesson 12. You will need your book, book 6. And we will see how exponents show repeated multiplication. So just a little bit for you to know. If you are not as familiar with exponents, you might want to pause here and take note of what I'm talking about. A lot of you have already learned about exponents in 5th grade. So this is just a refresh right here. So this right here, this 5, right? That 5 is the bigger number, okay? And I don't mean bigger like, I just mean it's the bigger number that you see as opposed to this little smaller number that's raised and above. That's kind of what I mean by bigger. Okay, so that larger number that you see, that 5, that is the base. Okay, so let's say, for example, you saw 2 squared, right? This 2 would be the base, right? Now, this little subscript or this little number that is set above, and it's usually very little, that is the exponent. So what you need to know about exponents is exponents are just the number multiplied to itself a specific number of times. So for example, in this example up here, the 2 times 2 squared just means 2 times 2. Okay, so when you have this base, that's the factor that's being multiplied, right? So this one, this 5 to the third, would technically be 5 times 5 times 5, right? And that exponent, or that 3, right? That tells us how many times to repeat multiplication. So that's it. That's going to be what we do today, is understanding exponents. So it's not too hard. So I'm going to give you some examples. So we have 2 to the 6th, right? That 6 is what's the little number that's raised up, right? That technically means to multiply 2 6 times to itself, right? So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which would be 64. Okay, and how you do this is it's almost like you take these 2 and get 4 times 2 and then multiply that by 2 and then and you just kind of keep going, right? Most of you are going to use a calculator when you're doing this anyway. And then we have this example, 3 to the 4th, we would say it like that, which technically means we're going to multiply 3 to itself 4 times, right? So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81. And that's it. That's what we're doing today. Now, I want you to take a note of this. This is important, and I see this every single year. A lot of kids see 7 to the third, and they think that means 7 times 3. It does not mean 7 times 3, right? What it means is 7 times 7 times 7. So you multiply 7 to itself 3 times. That is what's going on. So I just kind of showed you what not to do over here, right? And I just took it. So 7 times 3, that makes 21. Well, 7 times 7 times 7, that's 343. So take note that those are not the same, right? 21 and 343 are 2 completely different answers. Okay, so same down here, a 4 squared, right? Or 4 to the 2. You could say it either way. So 4 squared, or 4 to the 2, is not 4 times 2. That's not what it is. Okay, because 4 times 2, that's 8. But what this means is multiply 4 to itself 2 times. Well, 4 times 4 is 16. So take note that if you're going to make the error, you're going to get it wrong, right? And that's not what we want. So we want you to do it correctly. So this is just what not to do. That's kind of that slide. So now you're in your book. We're doing lesson 2. So you're on section 12. And then we're only going to do number 2 right there. That's what you'll turn in today. And it is called the genie's offer. Okay, so the genie's offer, it says, you find a brass bottle that looks really old. When you rub some dirt off the bottle, a genie appears. The genie offers you a reward. You have to choose only one. So you're supposed to choose one. Your options are this. Take 50,000 or take a magical $1 coin. The coin will turn into 2 coins on the first day. The 2 coins will turn into 4 coins on the second day. The 4 coins will double to 8 coins on the third day. The genie explains the doubling will continue for 28 days. That 28 days is important, and that 50,000 is going to be important. Okay, So now we're going to answer some questions. It says the number of coins on the third day will be 2 times 2 times 2. Can you write another expression using exponents for the number of coins there will be on the third day? Well, the answer is right here. 2 times 2 times 2 is the same as 2 to the third. 2 to the third says you multiply 2 3 times. Okay, so that's your answer right there for number 1. Number 2, it says, what do 2 to the 5th and 2 to the 6th represent in the situation? It says to do it without a calculator. I just kind of did it for you guys. We would do this anyway in class. So 2 to the 5th is 2 times 2 times 2, 5 times, right? And you would end up getting 32. So please write what you see here. And then 2 to the 6th, you do 2 times 2 times 2, 6 times, right? So you would get 64. Okay, so please write down what I kind of squared off there. That's what you'll write for number 2. All right, so now we move to number 3. It says, how many days would it take for the number of magical coins to exceed 50,000? So remember that your first choice would have been 50,000, or you could let this keep multiplying or doubling, right? Because it's by 2. So what would happen is you would kind of just keep going. So I did 2 to the 6th for you. That's $64. And I just kept going. So 2 to the 16 is what you're going to write down. And that would end up being 65,536. So in 16 days, you would already have more than the 50,000. So in your original question, when it said, which one would you rather do? You would want to do the second one because the first option was 50,000 and we already exceed it within 16 days. All right. So now we have a little bit of a more challenging one for number 4. It says, will the value of the magical coins exceed $1 million within the 28 days? Okay. So here's what I did. I just kept going. Right? So I did 2 to the 17. Please write this down. 131,072. And then I kept going. I said, well, what about 18 days? 2 to the 18. And then I get 262,144. Please write both of those. And then I did 2 to the 19. So in 19 days, I'm already at 500,000. So your answer is yes. So you should write down everything that I have right there. Okay, you're going to turn in your notes and then we're going to start practice.